This podcast is independent from my studies at Texas A&M's College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. This is intended to share knowledge and experiences in the field of veterinary medicine and to share the importance of medicine for the pursuit of science and its positive effects on the general public. Lauren,
Hello.
what's it like having one parent being an MD and the other being a veterinarian?
I would say a combination of intimidating and then also exciting. Like it was a really exciting childhood, especially. Can we talk a little bit about each parent?
Yeah.
Okay. Especially about my dad, which I know we'll probably dive more into later, but his clinic set up not only was he was a vet, but it was really unique in the sense of his vet clinic was connected to our house. And so the land, because I grew up on a cow calf operation. And so the land that we grew up on, our barn for our animals was also like the hydraulic chute and tilt chute that was used for his animals, like because he had a mixed animal practice. And so that made it really easy. But his office part, his reception, treatment areas, surgery room, and everything, that was connected to the end of our house, basically like as a renovated mother in law suite. So it was really cool in the sense of when he was an only doctor practice, everything was right there and he could just jump right over if needed, but it also means like he was right there. And so it's kind of funny growing up whenever you look up on Apple Maps, like vet clinics near you, obviously your house shows up. And so I just remember so many times when I was little, like girls bringing like this poor dog they found on the side of the road, like bawling, weeping, like, we saw this as a vet clinic ER, and we're like, no, like, you need to go to Denton, like, you need to go into town. And so some things like we could help and like do things like that, but a lot of times it was hard having people at your house all the time.
I
Yeah.
bet the separation between work-life balance didn't really exist.
Yeah. No, it didn't for a long time. It didn't for a long time. And I think he really liked that with me and my brothers growing up because if we wanted to be involved in it, we could. And he was never like push upon you, like, hey, you need to come to the farm call with me. But there's this really cool opportunity. And like, why would you not want to go hang out and spend time with dad? And so it was definitely, and it was also really nice for my dad when my brothers and I were growing up and we had like a babysitter at the house. He could come over and like check on us all the time. So it worked like for very dynamic for a long time, especially when my mom just got out of residency and everything. But it was still a little crazy. Yeah.
Was there a lot of pressure when you got into vet school or trying to get into vet school?
Yes, but I think a lot of that, not I think, I now know a lot of that was self imposed. I have a big issue, I think, call it eldest daughter. Um, kind of stress, but I put a lot of pressure on myself and like wanting to be perfect and perfectionist. And I like had told myself for some reason that like, oh, my parents are going to be so disappointed in me if like this doesn't happen. I don't make this work. I don't get this grade, whatever. And at the end, they were like, no, like we just want you to be happy. You do, if this is like your field that you're going into, you get on the first time, amazing. If not, like we'll pivot and figure it out. And so once I got into vet school, then I thought like, okay, finally, like all this pressure I put on myself will stop. And then, it just doesn't. Like you have your whole imposter syndrome. Oh, I'm not good enough to be here. Or, oh, I didn't get this grade. And so that's still something I'm definitely struggling with.
You said oldest daughter feeling.
Yes.
Did you wait? Do you have three younger brothers? Is that
Two
right?
younger
Two
brothers.
younger brothers.
Yes.
Did you feel like you had to be the perfect child kind of thing?
I would say to a certain extent, yes. Don't get me wrong. I was still, um, kind of mischievous and like did all the things with my brothers,
You
like
picked on them,
torture them.
didn't
Oh
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
but they tortured me right back. Having twin brothers, two younger brothers that are twins, like they gang up on you. But I think I did feel a sense of like I have to set the standard for my family, and I kind of always thought that like when my brothers go into middle school or high school afterwards, I don't want them to be like, oh, your older sister is Lauren Strittmatter. I would be like, oh my gosh, your older sister was Lauren, like, we love her. And so I kind of really wanted to kind of set that ground level, like wherever I went. And not to like benefit my brothers, it definitely made me feel good too, but kind of like make them want to be better as well.
That's funny. I don't think my older brother or I felt like that at all. Like when I went to a classroom or took a class in high school, I was like, nah, the odds that my younger brother is going to be in this exact class again with this exact teacher are low. So,
Yeah.
nah, it'll be fine.
No, it's true. And then also maybe like a bit of a small town thing. Like growing up in Aubrey, I only had like 170 people in my graduating class. So everybody knew, like everybody. And my dad, he grew up in the next door neighboring town of Aubrey from Pallet Point. And so Pallet Point's even smaller town in Aubrey. So everyone knew like the Strittmatters. And so I maybe like felt a little bit of pressure from that, even from like knowing that my family's name was known, like just with the dad being a local vet, mom being a local doctor type thing, and then like us farming and everything about Point. But probably small town class feel for sure
Hmm.
started that.
And you said how far were you guys out from Denton?
So it's kind of interesting. I am like 10 minutes away from UNT's campus, and then but my address is Aubrey. So I live like right my street is literally right on the line between the Denton Aubrey border. So we were sanctioned to go to Denton, but we have an Aubrey address. We had to pay a transfer fee to go to Aubrey schools.
Mm.
So it's pretty silly, but really like smack dab in the middle of both, I would say. It's like 15 minutes to Aubrey since it's kind of more rural and like 10 minutes to Denton. So it's a good mix.
Yeah, my family was the same way, but between Louisville and Carrollton,
Oh, yeah.
so in Denton County,
Mhm.
and yeah, we were on the Louisville side of I 121, but it was so close that like Carrollton was. If you said, "Oh, I'm from Carrollton," it's like the same place
Right there.
basically.
Yeah.
Um, but you said 170 in your
Yeah.
graduating class.
Yeah, so this is high school all over again.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like
Yeah.
high school? That might be a loaded
I
question.
No, it's not a loaded question. So I guess kind of backstory. I liked high school. I did not like middle school. And in middle school, obviously you're so young, it's like, what do you know? Like you're a dorky kid. But I came in to Aubrey in sixth grade from a private Catholic school, is where was at from pre-K to sixth grade. And so middle school, I'm like, I don't know anybody. Like this is, all new kid transferring fields and everything. And so high school, I like really dived in and got really involved in like FA, sports, honor societies, like the whole thing. And so I liked high school, but it definitely felt pulled in different directions because like I had my FFA friend group, I had my basketball friend group, my smart honor classes friend group. And so it was a little bit weird because I never felt like I had like a core friend group, if that makes sense. Like I had a lot of great friends, but high school was maybe a little bit hard in that way because I like think kind of craved like a girl group and that like didn't really happen for me.
Kind of split between different high school ecosystems in a way.
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. And like that are completely different. To like you have some of your hick, like redneck FFA people, and then like your livestock people, and then your people that go play select basketball on the weekends. And I like fell very in between those two lines.
That's interesting because in my mind, the small town high school, that's almost everybody. Because in my, from my perspective, I had a graduating class of like 900,
Yeah,
almost 1,000.
it's crazy.
And the only way that you would kind of excel in any particular area is you pick one and you just did that one thing.
Yeah.
Very rarely is somebody, the first chair and band and the starting quarterback and also a varsity basketball player. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, maybe sports could cross over between like football and track, but beyond that, you picked one lane and you stuck with it.
Hmm.
And it almost sounds like that with, your perspective for other people, but you did split between multiple things.
I would definitely agree. Like there wasn't something, to be honest, that I was just absolutely amazing at. Like I was decent and good at a lot of things, but I wasn't like your first place varsity track winner every week. But it's a little bit different in the sense of like, for example, Aubrey, and it's changed now because Aubrey's growing like crazy. But if you wanted to play basketball, you had to run track. If you wanted to play volleyball, you had to participate in this other thing to like make our team kind of deal. And so at that point, it was like, well, if I have to, I might as well just do it all. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe because I did feel somewhat similarly, like not, I wasn't particularly. great at anything. I did a number of things. And yeah, to excel at something in high school, you had to pick that one thing and go for it.
Mhm.
But if you didn't want to excel and be the best, like you could just do a number of things and be a
Yeah.
part. And part of me thought that it would be really cool because I did play in band in the
Mhm.
marching band, and I was like, man, if I was really good at that, then I could have kept going after high school. But now thinking back, it's like maybe it was better that I wasn't good at or excelling at any particular thing, so it left me open to pursuing the path that we're all on now, kind of thing.
That's honestly such a good perspective that I haven't really thought about because going back to you saying if I would have pushed band more, so I was kind of similar. I'm going to sound like I jump around all the time, but in private school, I played the cello because like orchestra was like the thing to do. You either could play in the orchestra or you could sing, and I knew I couldn't sing. So I was like, cello it is. Let's pick the biggest instrument.
Hmm.
And so then I did the cello and I did dance for a long time. And then it got to the point of like, okay, you have to pick in between the two. Like, do you want to do cello or dance? And then I was like, okay, I picked dance. Then I transferred to Aubrey and it was like, okay, so now you're doing dance, you're doing basketball. And then also, like, welcome to sixth grade, you have to pick an instrument or be in choir. And I was like, well, I still can't sing. So I guess I'll pick another instrument. So then I played trombone for a while. Then it was, okay, now you need to pick between basketball and dance. And then I picked basketball. So like moved on from dance, moved on from cello. Then it was like, okay, now it's time for your electives in middle school. Do you want to do ag and FA or do you want to do band? And so it's like, okay, no longer to band. And so I like did a lot of different things. And you are right. Like it gave me a lot of different, I don't know, like experiences and stuff to kind of make me who I am, I guess. But there was nothing I was ever like, whoa, she's the best at it. And that's okay. I've like accepted that.
So, from your FFA and 4-H experience,
Hmm.
do you want to do large animal stuff now?
Yes, that definitely. So in FFA, I showed steers and heifers and also did pigs a little bit. And I would definitely say that's a big reason of it, but I would say it probably stemmed originally from growing up on the cow calf ranch. Like we were always involved in it. And so definitely when I got to high school and started showing steers and heifers, like I could actually understand like the process more and like why I was doing what I was doing and having to wake up really early in the morning so I could go feed before basketball practice and do all of the things and then go back and like walk my steers and heifers, but then go do basketball and go study for my AP classes. Like it taught me a really good work ethic. And so definitely wanting to like pursue large animal stemmed a lot from FFA as well, I would say.
Did majority of people at your high school have a similar routine where they lived on a ranch and they took care of animals?
I would say honestly no. It was, I think I was definitely kind of the minority in the sense of people that grew up in that lifestyle. A lot of people had horses because Aubrey's like big horse country. And so a lot of people grew up doing that and grew up riding. And, but not a whole lot of people, especially not my close friend group, had cattle. So it was kind of like the thing to do. This sounds so silly. I can't believe I'm telling you this. But, like when it was time to go have a sleepover, spend the night, a lot of people wanted to come to my house because we were like, oh, Lauren has hay bales and we can go jump and run on the hay bales. So that was my childhood sleepovers was like falling down, getting our legs torn up from jumping across hay bales and going to like, which was so much fun. I loved it. It was just funny thinking back on, um, that's not how a lot of people grew up, which I had to come, had to come to
Nope.
realize. So, yeah, it was definitely not as common, I would say.
Yeah, no one at my high school had anything like that. Maybe their family had like a ranch, but it was like a this other house,
Mhm.
you know, kind of like a vacation thing, or they had horses, but they lived like in a stall,
Yeah.
not in a stall, but on a ranch somewhere else. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, that was not an experience, and I don't think that's an experience for the majority of kids. So
Yeah.
definitely unique.
Yeah. I would say so. I'm really grateful for, like, how I grew up and that got to be exposed in that, and we were, because honestly, the reason that we switched from private school to public school is because my parents wanted us to start being involved in FFA and agriculture because they did it when they were kids and they knew how much like it helped form them and gave them good life skills and learning. So I'm glad that I had kind of the combination of the farm and then FFA growing up. And then also not only in FFA you have like all your livestock stuff and everything, but there's a lot of leadership aspects as well, which was really good for me.
Yeah, I think I got all that stuff from I'm really exposing myself here, but I was in Boy Scouts for the longest time, and
Love, love.
yeah, it's nerdy. I get it. But
No, hey,
it
FFA. People can say FFA is nerdy, so
yeah.
yeah,
I feel like the word nerd doesn't mean anything derogatory anymore. Like we all
I
call each other
agree.
nerds.
Because we are, which is like not a bad thing, I don't think.
It's almost like a synonymous with ambitious in some academic manner,
Yeah,
which like you don't need to know all the information to be nerdy. You just have to be interested in wanting to know
yeah,
more.
exactly.
And that's almost, I don't know, it's a positive attribute. So calling someone nerdy is like it's almost a good thing now.
I agree.
But
No, I agree with that. Like they have like a want and a yearn to like learn and maybe even like push themselves to like go further, in my opinion. So I agree with you.
we are now halfway through vet school, finished our second year. The summer before our third year.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
So, beginning of summer, I had the opportunity to go on an amazing trip with my mom. Went to Italy for 2 weeks, and that was so much fun. I would say one of my biggest hobbies or things I love to do is travel and just try different like new experiences and be kind of lost in a new place and like figure my way out. I absolutely love that. So got to go to Italy for 2 weeks, and that was really special. And then since then, been on some bachelorette trips for some friends and then doing externships. Um, so even though my dad was mixed animal vet, he didn't see a whole lot of equine, especially as I got older. It was more so beginning of his practice when there wasn't all of the specialty equine clinics around. And so I went and spent 2 weeks at Brock Vet Clinic in La Mesa. It was just they say they're mixed animal, but they're truly probably 80% equine and 10% small and like 10% food animal. And so got to have a lot of amazing experience there and then have worked with dad a lot, which has been really good. And got to go to palpation camp, which is something that A&M has. The viewers or listeners that don't know, is something that A&M has for their third year vet students where they get to go to Canyon at our West Texas campus and practice palpating dairy cows and mares. So it was really cool. It's my first time getting to palpate a mare.
Are those with private companies? I know it's through the school.
Yes. So only our last day there, we went to a dairy called Circle T Dairy, and that was, I guess, your private company, and that was in Vega, like 45 minutes away from Canyon. But everything else is animals that the school owns. And then I guess rest of summer, um, going to Wyoming in a couple weeks to go to one of our classmates. She lives in Wyoming. And so getting to go and experience her clinic from back home. She, on her drive up to Wyoming, came and stopped at my dad's. And so it's kind of funny. We're doing like a little switch action with our vet
Hmm.
clinics. And so, and then this week, just been working at the vet school.
Where do you work?
So I'm an ambassador for that school, so I give tours. So either for prospective DVM students or faculty, but most of the time it's high school students wanting to pursue BIMS major and then go into vet school and kind of just get their experience.
Yeah, show
Yeah.
them what it's like walking around.
Yeah.
Did you do that before applying?
No, which
No.
is no.
You were
I
just
did
like,
not.
I'm gonna go here. It doesn't matter what it looks like or what the people are like. Just what I want to do.
Are you talking about for undergrad or for vet school?
Either.
So undergrad, no. I come from a super big Aggie family. Was born in the cult, raised in the cult, loved every minute of it. Both my parents went here for undergrad and for professional school. And so I grew up going to Aggie football games ever since I was really little. We were a big RV family, and so we like would RV down to games, have our RV spot. And I remember for one game, me and my brothers. had agreed together that we were going to paint our face half maroon, half white. Okay. Then I walk out of the RV bathroom. Everyone's ready to go. No one else did it. And so I looked like an idiot, red ass little 7-year-old with my face half maroon, half white. But I loved every minute of it. And so for undergrad, A&M was the only school I applied to and knew I wanted to go here from the beginning. Um, and then chose animal science because honestly, it sounded like the right thing to pick.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
I've only met a couple people who've been like, "Yeah, the science of animals. Of course I'm gonna pick that to go to vet school."
Yeah, no, it was kind of funny because, and I really don't know why he had this pre-notion, but I originally, when I applied, had picked BIMS because I was like, oh, biomedical sciences at the College of Veterinary Medicine. I was like, this must be what I need to pick. So I picked it, applied, got in, and then my dad was like, no, you should do animal science. Like, that sounds cooler. And I was like, okay. So,
Hmm.
um, and I was like, yeah. And I had no idea it was more livestock based or anything going into it, which I'm glad it was. Like, it taught me a lot. Um, so it was kind of, sure, let's do this. I don't know much about it.
Hmm. Did you think that that degree filled in some gaps from your experiences growing up on a ranch?
100%. 100% because yes, grew up around cattle, but there's still a whole lot I didn't know, like about sheep or goats, for example, in Animal Science 107 with Ramsey on Zoom. We learned about all of like sheep operations. Never knew any of that before. And then obviously in our other like production classes, some of it I did know, which was nice. Like so random, but I took advanced reproduction like our senior year. And we I remember we learned all about estrus protocols and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I do remember when we stuck this plastic thing inside our cows once a year. Like, okay. And then getting to like finally connect the dots and everything was pretty cool.
Hmm. Yeah, for me it was all new. So
Yeah,
for
especially from Louisville.
yeah, from my perspective, it was all the redneck country people went there and they were like, "Yeah, I know all of this." And I'm like, "I believe you. I believe that you know how to take care of animals. You've done it since you were a child." Um, and so like I would scramble between classes like you mentioned cow calf operation and I
Hmm.
was like, I don't know what these operations are and people are just throwing them around like,
Yeah, that's fair.
it's common lingo. So um no, it's interesting to think that you can grow up with cows and not know anything about sheep or goat or swine or chicken or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's like, oh, you grew up on a farm, you must know everything.
I can assure you I do not. Like we had chickens year round that laid eggs, but did I know a thing about chickens until that school? No, I did not. So it was pretty cool getting to take some of those animal science classes aside from our like our core science classes and truly like get to derive some of my experiences to our curriculum, but learn a whole lot new too, which was really nice.
What about going to vet school? Did you tour the campus?
So not until our what was it? Visitation day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't tour it before applying or anything. So actually, it's kind of funny. Me and Tyler, both of us being animal science majors, we never had a single class in the vet school compared to BIMS, or I didn't at least.
I
Did you?
had one.
Oh, you had
I had
one.
one.
Okay.
It was a weird situation.
Hmm.
Colorado's vet school required a physiology class, which
Yes.
animal science did not provide.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need a physiology class. There's
Hmm.
one that has a seat open, and it was with Dr. Blue in the vet school.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was interesting.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
But
So, first time I'd ever walked into the vet school is when we had our visitation day after we got accepted. And it was kind of like, well, I mean, I have been to the old vet school, like where my dad went to school before they built this new one. I guess I'll just see the new one like whenever, if and when I get to go to visitation day. I don't really know why I didn't feel the need to see it beforehand, but I was kind of like, I'll see it when I see it. I think, um, kind of mentality. I'm not really sure why, but
no, when I applied for undergrad, A&M was the only place I applied to, so it wasn't like I had
hmm
other options. But I was like, I should at least know what
hmm
the campus is like.
yeah,
And we scheduled a tour of main campus, which was very involved, a lot of walking, and
Yeah.
a lot of this is the history, blah blah blah. A
Mhm.
lot of cult-ish like
And
stuff.
the whooping and the yells and
Yep.
the yeah.
They made us do yell practice, and I was like, no, absolutely.
Come
I
on,
was like a two
Tyler.
percenter in high school, and I had that mentality coming in here. I'm a little
Mm-mm.
better, but no, you could not. The peppy kind of person I was not. So after that, I was like in shock, and my parents were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just don't know what it's gonna be like going here." And then we toured the vet school, and I was like, "I feel a lot better," because it was like it felt like a normal person. Like, yeah, these are classes, and this is the hospital, and
Yeah, on my tours, I'm not doing yells. I can say that for sure. But see, that's the part that I love. Every time I see like them by what is it, by Califield doing their little yell practice, I'm like,
mhm.
yay, like go. But because it's funny whenever because I did come in through the dorms, I did do that before going to undergrad here. And I remember there was like an option for a main campus tour, and my dad was like, oh, I'll give you the main campus tour.
He's like,
What are
"I
they
know
going to
these
show you that I
grounds."
can't show you? And I was like, okay. So I never got to do that. It's just kind of funny.
No, the whenever I walk by and I see them doing the yell practice or whatever. No, I
Hmm.
guess not anymore, but back in undergrad,
Hmm.
like when I was a junior or senior, I'd always see that one kid who's just like, "I don't want to do this." I'm like, "It's okay.
That
Just
was me.
yeah, you'll be fine."
You can do it.
We also started in COVID. Did you also
Yeah.
start what was that
Yeah.
2020?
Yeah. Fall of 2020.
And
That's crazy.
so like all the in-person stuff and all the
Hmm.
what is it called when they have all of
Asynchronous.
the when they had all of the clubs lined up on the drill
Oh,
field and then the MSC.
MSC Town Hall.
Yeah.
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 Or open house.
Open
Open
house.
house.
That sounds better.
Yeah. Open house.
I was just gonna go with whatever you
Town
said.
hall is our thing. Yeah. Open
um
house.
that didn't exist. And so like seeing anything
Yeah.
in person and all it was just like clear. And I was like, oh, this is a lot more peaceful. A little bit more my style.
Hmm.
And then it came back in 2021. I could no longer ride my bike around.
You're like, this is not the college I started it at.
Yeah, I was like, why are there so many people here? Where'd they come from? They were all hiding. But no, the after starting vet school, what is it like now going back home and I guess talking with your parents in the do medical things ever come up?
Yes, which is really cool. It was a lot more, um, I guess when I was younger, my parents would like talk about cases and stuff together, and like my mom would kind of talk to my dad about this thing that she had, or vice versa. But one thing that I truly never want to take for granted for is I do get to call my dad a lot when we're in school because I'm very close to my dad. Get to call him a lot when we're in school and talk about different cases. So that was especially evident during ClinPath. It was so much fun getting to, it sounds so nerdy now, but so much fun getting to like talk to him through our cases that Dr. Johnson had taught us that week. And then he would send me pictures of his blood work cases from his patients. And then we would get to go through his and then mine and like talk through them together. And I really enjoyed that. And so that's something really special that I never want to take for granted is still getting to be able to do that with him, especially like now this summer from him and the other two veterinarians that now work with him. Getting to, because I definitely take for granted how disposable it is to me. And like he has to remind me of that sometimes and bring me back down to earth of like, Lauren, not all of your classmates get to just walk in and like get to do like help out with the cat neuter or do cat neuter whenever they want. I'm like, you're right. You're right. I need to kind of appreciate this more. So it is cool getting to talk with him about all of that. Mom, less so, because yes, it's still medicine, but yes, there's similar drugs and stuff. Like we would talk about stuff together when I took pharmacology, but it's definitely different for a reason.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
As a vet student, though, I feel like any of us can kind of walk near a vet clinic and be like, "I'm a vet student. Can I
Hmm.
shadow?" And they'll be like, "Yes, please." And
Come.
like, here's an offer for in 4 years when you graduate." Yeah.
Yeah, especially at a corporate
Oh
practice.
yeah. Yeah. I've shadowed at a couple places, and they're while I was there talking about like, all right, here's what all the vets we need. And some of them were like, "We need, like, experienced vets," and so I was like, "I'm out of this conversation."
I'm not there
Um,
yet.
but, it's interesting. Did your dad's practice ever have that kind of issue with personnel, or I guess, yeah, personnel, especially with it being attached to your house?
For employees,
Yeah.
you mean? Honestly, no. Um, he had a lot of so I guess I should preface now, his clinic is no longer connected to our house. So, he was single vet practice and had like a couple tech, I mean, it was a small practice, but a couple techs, a receptionist, and it was kind of a team of normally 5 of them because they didn't do boarding, they didn't do grooming, so that's kind of all they really needed. And so he every year would have fourth year A&M vet students come in, do rotations along with like OSU and other schools. And one time, it's probably in like 2017, 2016, maybe even before that, there was a guy. His name was Bo Black, and he had hit one of his 2 week rotations at my dad's clinic because my dad was like a rotating clinic, I guess what you call it, satellite, yeah, satellite
Yeah,
clinic,
yeah.
for fourth year rotations at A&M. And at the end of his rotation with my dad, he was like, "Hey, I know you're not looking for an associate right now, but I really want like to work with you. I really want the mentorship, everything." Kind of sold his gave his little selling pitch to my dad, and it worked. And so he started as my dad's associate while I was still connected to our house for probably 4 or 5 years. And then after that, Dr. Black was like, "I think I want to start buying into the practice if that's okay with you." So then, because of that, you can no longer be connected to our house because you'd be part of our house ownership. And so then they started building a standalone clinic in Denton that was much bigger.
Mm,
So instead of 2 exam rooms, it's 5. Instead of 1 surgery suite, there's 2. And so that's where we still have all of our small animal and small ruminant stuff. And then the large animal is still done at our house, at our barn. And basically, my dad's clinic just pays rent like to my mom for her house. So, I would say no, there was never honestly a lack of employees. Obviously, there's like the ebb and flow of technicians. It sometimes doesn't stay steady, but for the most part, it was always consistent.
I'm gonna ask you that something that might be a tough question. Do you think you're gonna go work there?
I knew you were gonna ask that. That's like the $1,000,000 question everyone asks me. I would be amiss if I didn't at some point in my career get to work with my dad. I think I would regret that decision for a long time in my life. The part that you'll get into my whole thought process of me struggling with this, but part is right now is I want to work with my dad at some point. I know that. Part of me though wants to do my own thing when I get out of vet school for a little bit, have my year out, establish Lauren herself as a veterinarian, as Dr. Strittmatter. Then I can go back and work with dad as his associate if there's room. But then I also know that my dad wants to retire um, kind of soonish. And so I don't want to like basically make him wait for me to finish me doing my own thing. I don't want to be selfish until I'm ready to go back to his clinic. The only problem is I feel like with me going back to his clinic and starting off is a definitely an ego thing that I need to get over. Is there I don't want to be considered like not Dr. Strittmatter because like he is the Dr. Strittmatter. I don't want people to have like this nightmare, people calling on the phone. "Oh, can I have an appointment with like Dr. Strittmatter?" And then I walk in the room, they're like, "You're not who we wanted." And so, and then also a lot of the technicians, they've known me since I was really little. And so I feel like there would be a weird separation of the two of like, this is no longer baby, awkward teenager, young adult Lauren. Like, this is veterinarian Lauren. And
Mhm.
so I don't know. I need to figure it out sooner rather than later. To be honest, because during first year, I was like, that's 3 years away. That's 2 years away. Well, coming up kind of.
I can also imagine that there's a possibility of this is the boss's daughter kind of dynamic, and
Yeah.
don't wanna step on any toes or upset anybody.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a couple of people in our class that are in the same situation
Hmm.
where they're like, well, I would want to, but I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. And
Yeah.
I guess there's a weird dichotomy. A The pro of having a parent that is a veterinarian while going through vet school is I get to go bounce ideas off of
Mhm.
my parent with the lowest stakes possible.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
exactly.
hopefully, unless they're like overbearing
Mhm,
but but outside of that is, you get out of vet school and it's like, oh, it'd be cool to do this thing with the person that's like helped me all this way, but
mhm.
that it sounds like from what you were saying that would you say that I guess I was going to impose something. I'm going to ask a question instead. Do you think that that would hold you back in any way if you just went straight to working with your dad outside of that school instead of doing your own thing?
That's honestly a good point because I've thought about a lot that if I go work for my dad, um, I don't see myself doing something after. So maybe it would hold me back in the sense of I wouldn't be inclined to go somewhere else because I would probably be so comfortable in that position. And one of like, like on my dream board that I like have in my mind, one of those things is since I love to travel, I would love to practice veterinary medicine in another state, even another country if possible for a year. That obviously wouldn't happen first year out of vet school. We need to be slightly experienced. But I feel like that also might even need to be happen before I go back to dad's because I feel like that would be my long term home. But I don't know. So I definitely think it could hold me back a little bit, but maybe that's not a bad thing. It's a good question though. I don't know how I'm gonna figure it out.
Another country. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you got one
So
in mind?
it would obviously have to be predominantly English speaking
Yeah.
because I
Do you speak another language?
know.
Okay.
Yeah. So in undergrad I went to Germany for almost 2 months for a study abroad and I absolutely loved it. And so my family is German. We're from a small town in Bavaria in southern Germany. And so that would be really cool to go to Germany, but because I feel like almost everyone there is English speaking, or even Canada. Love Canada. It doesn't even have to be like some exotic place. I just want something different. And so maybe that goes back to what I'm saying that like I need to be out of my comfort zone before I like find this comfortable routine if it's at my dad's clinic. So I don't know. Yeah,
It sounds like you have the itch to go travel,
I
which
do.
you mentioned, but like there are some people who just, it seems like they have the desire to go anywhere else but where they are.
Mm,
And it's interesting. Like Dr. Tace, when I had him on, we talked a little bit about how much he travels.
hmm.
And he was like, "Yeah, I encourage everybody to travel anywhere."
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, I want to go to Europe." Like you mentioned going to London.
Hmm.
I'm so jealous. Like I want to go to Europe so bad. But in my mind, and actually both my brothers are in Europe right now.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
One of them's on a study abroad in Spain. The other one, just he's out of college now and he has an adult job. So he's like, I'm just going to Spain. And
Heck
I was
yeah.
like, ah, I want to go so bad. And they're like, you should go. And I'm like, I don't have money or time. So,
Yeah.
but
That's crazy. They're there for like two separate reasons.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, my younger brother did the study abroad, and then my
Hmm.
older brother's like, well, he's there, so I'm gonna go see him
Oh,
and then do my own
good.
thing, kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
And they really tried to convince me to go, but in my mind, whenever I'm like, I could go do these fun things, but
Hmm.
it's like I need to work because one, I'm broke, and because I'm a college kid, but
Valid.
and then two, like I don't know how you feel, but at the beginning of a long career like this in veterinary medicine, it almost feels like you got to get so much done in order to establish yourself and be like, look at my resume. So now I can do all these, um, you know, cool things or put yourself
Hmm.
in higher positions. Cause it almost feels like if you don't try now, then 5 or 10 years could pass and you would almost be being stagnant. How can I rephrase
I
this?
understand what you're trying to say. Like you kind of want to, like for example, with your research, you want to be able to do this now, so maybe it can give you more opportunities in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially which like makes sense for you if you do want to go ahead and pursue residency. Then like yes, this is a great thing, building up your resume, and so you have kind of honestly the option to pivot later on if you want to. And so I feel like that's maybe what you're talking about, not being stagnant.
I just don't want time to go by and it be like, oh, I did these fun things, which I kind of remember it because like any fun trips, I kind of remember it,
Hmm.
but it's really the like I kind of remember the location, but it's really the time with other people
Yeah.
that I remember most.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. There's also a factor of if I go anywhere now, I will only be thinking about the stuff I have to do when I get back. So it just takes away from it.
Yeah.
Um like I think by the at the time of this recording, like this upcoming Monday through
Hmm.
Wednesday, I had scheduled to go to town, and it was the first time going out of town all summer
Mm.
to do something. And
Hmm.
then some things fell through with research, and I'm like, I think I need to get like stay here and get that done. And but then I was like, that was the only like 3 days I was gonna have of not being here doing something.
Yeah.
But then I was like, again, going back and forth, it's like if I go, then I will only for those 3 days be thinking of, oh,
Yeah.
I should have stayed
Hmm.
and gotten these things done. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how I don't know how you feel about that.
No, definitely the same, very similar because I feel like in vet school, we're always in go mode. Like you're always have to do this, have to study for this. Oh, this upcoming test. And so it's really hard to get off of that. Like I don't know about you, but every time we in finals, I'm like anxiously waiting. I'm like, okay, wait, what assignment have I not done yet? What else do I need to do? And so yes, I went on this amazing trip with my mom to Italy, but it was also part of like just take a deep breath. Like you don't have anything waiting for you. And also all the comparing of like my friend group chat of saying, got to do this surgery today, got to do this. So excited for them. That's awesome. And I'm over here in Italy, which is amazing, but I'm like, I should be home. Like I should be doing things like I'm behind right now. And so I think it's very hard for us, like when you're constant in that high energy, high workload environment to step back from it for a little bit. But also, I think like finding how to do that is so important because if not, you're just going to get burned out. I feel like, because like you need a break. You do.
Everyone does eventually.
I'm talking to you.
Ah, whatever. Dude, I think I mentioned this when talking to somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Um this past spring semester of the second year
Hmm.
for us, I definitely got burnt out on on the very last exam, the DI exam, on
Yeah.
Friday. I was going solid all week for finals, and then the last exam, my brain turned off. It was immediate too. Like
Yeah.
I I think I got a keyboard on
Hmm.
like the Monday of finals, and so like that was my study break, as I would go and like try and figure out how to play the keyboard.
Hmm.
Um, and then the Thursday before our last exam on Friday, I spent most of that day playing the keyboard because I was like, I'm not looking at any more notes.
You needed to disassociate for a little bit
Yeah,
and like distract yourself.
it just I would read whatever slides and was like, it isn't working.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how do you deal with all the stuff in vet school, all the studying, all the different information?
I would be lying if I said I have it completely figured out. To be honest with you. First year of vet school was hard on me. Because not that undergrad was easy for me, like it was not a walk in the park. Like I still had to work my butt off, but first year of that school was so much harder. And so I would say it took me at least the first semester to like get into the hang of things and figure out, okay, how do I need to be a vet student? Maybe how I need to be a vet student is not how my friends need to be a vet student. And like everyone's kind of different study habits and stuff. So I would say your question was, how did I figure it out? So you said, right?
Yeah, how do you deal with all the
How to deal with it.
information?
Yeah. So for me, I break it up into like it's kind of funny because every single class I study for it a little bit differently. And I think something that my dad said to me when I was an undergrad that like really stuck with me is that you don't need to figure out technically like all the information how to and like what they're wanting you to do. You need to figure out like how the class works and how you can exceed in this class type of thing. And so I just remember that sticking with me because for me, how I studied for physiology was very different from anatomy. It was very different for clin path. And so I think it takes me a little bit to get used to the class and figure out how I'm going to like approach it, which is also hard for me because I'm a big planner. And so I want to have like everything planned out. Like my calendar is color coded and everything before we start our first day of school because it just helps like my mind kind of be at bay a little bit with all of these other thoughts going around. And so it's a little bit hard to like be the combination of both of like, okay, I want to prep and plan and do everything, but also I can't. Like I need to see how it's going to play out first. So I know it's not really answering your question, but I would say it depends. That's gonna be your answer. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I mean, I don't have any answer that I expected.
What is it for you? How do you deal with it?
Um, I definitely have a schedule. I have a schedule during the day with all the classes and stuff.
Mhm.
I definitely try and go to every class. I know not everybody prefers that for their own reasons.
Mhm.
And I used to look down upon that mindset, not upon those people, but like upon that mindset because in my head, just I guess how I was raised with school and all the teachers and professors I had, you know, even starting back in high school and up till undergrad, it was like if you didn't go to class, you weren't a good student kind of thing.
Mhm.
And in vet school, it's just not. That's not exactly the case. At least not all the time.
Mhm.
But like during the day, go to all the classes, try and really pay attention during the class because it would make it easier after the class to go over that information. Did it always work? Honestly, rarely did it ever really work. Sometimes I'll be looking, like listening in class, like taking notes. I'm like, I understand what you're saying. I
Mhm.
know in 2 minutes it's going to be gone. Like, I just will not
Yeah.
remember what we talked about.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, then after that, just go over the slides again and try and make, I don't know, condense it down in whatever way like possible.
Mhm.
But no, I think that it's almost it isn't a measure of do I know all the information at this point is a measure of have I put in enough work to
Yeah.
justify feeling okay for an exam?
Mhm.
Because there have been multiple times walking into an exam, talking to people right before it, and they're like, "Hey, you remember this thing?" I was like, "No." But I remember, studying for the past 8 hours. So,
That should get me somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, hopefully I remember something, but it's not that.
Mhm.
And is it the best way to go about it? I don't know. I think that this past summer has reminded me that I'm better with, I don't want to say in the moment thinking because that's not exactly true, but tying something to something that's real, which is a horrible way of saying that. Let me rephrase it. Um, Tying information to something that's tangible.
Mhm.
So there have been a number of cases that I've helped, or not helped, but I've shadowed in the small animal hospital. I'm like, oh, this is a thing. Like we've mentioned like a saddle thrombus in a
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah.
For people who are listening who have no idea what that is, it's a blood clot in like the back end of a cat.
Bad deal. Bad, bad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And there was one that came in ER, and so like we not only went through the uh the pathophysiology of it, then we went over the treatment and what it's like to diagnose it, and
Mhm.
like all the different steps. And so now I can be like, oh, these medications I can tie to this disease, so it'll help me remember how they work instead of here's a class and like here's pharmacology and we're going to go through all the drugs
Mhm.
every week. It's a different like uh uh section of the body and different broad categories of drugs, and so
Mhm.
you know so it, I don't think there's another way of explaining it other than tying information to something that's tangible.
And I think, because I agree with your thought process, and I think that's why I loved organ dysfunction so much, because that's like exactly what that was. And so getting to, and I also get that like before you can have those discussions and like talk about these cases, you have to have some sort of like basic knowledge. It's like get why we had to take like our courses were lined up like that in pharmacology before we could even like open a door to having those discussions and about the pathophysiology and everything. But sometimes it's like, why can't we just like get there already and then like
Hmm.
talk about it that way? So I agree with you. I agree with you. I wish I could say I was similar to you where I had a consistent schedule every day. I did not. um, it's like always in my mind where I say I'm a scheduled person. I like to have things planned out, but it's like a mix of both, to be honest. Like I know I can wake up early person, and so I prefer doing my studying like early in the morning rather than at night because I just get so tired. But studying every day like looks a little bit different, and sometimes like I'm a big checklist person, so maybe that's how I deal with it a little bit, I guess. Getting to have certain due dates for myself before they're actually due because I love to procrastinate. It's a terrible habit. And so um I would say that that's definitely a big part of it, but it honestly changes week to week. Like it's never 100% the same.
Have you always struggled with procrastination?
Yes. Sadly.
It's like a
Yes.
it's so strange. So many people it's struggle with it, and I struggle with it sometimes. I used to struggle with it way more when I was younger.
Mhm.
But it's so common that everyone's like, "Oh, procrastination. It exists."
It's so bad, Tyler. Like it's gotten better. It really has, especially with certain assignments. Like if I start it, like it takes a while for me to start something, to be honest. And that's with honestly anything I'm doing, reading a book, whatever. If I start it, then I'm like locked in, then I'm good. Like and then I can keep on going and I don't have whole ADHD thing of like my mind's here and here and here. Then I can like get it and complete it. But sometimes I don't know why I have the mindset of like putting it off. I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it later. You want to hear something that's like completely exposing myself, which is actually terrible. And I don't think any vet school friends know this. But whenever I was applying to vet school, I applied to A&M and Tech, and then I also applied to two out-of-state schools. So I had to do the VMCAS other portal thing. Okay. I don't know why. Maybe it's because like I was banking more on Tech and A&M, where I was like, okay, I got that done, got TIMDAS done. This VMCAS, like, yes, it's cool and it's good. I'm applying to these two other schools, but like, I care, but I've really like checked off the box already. So I wait until the night of the application is due. Okay. I'm trying to submit it. And I like it was done. It was completed. I don't know why. But I'm trying to submit it like 30 minutes beforehand. And it's one of those things they tell you in school. Canvas may not load. So like try to submit it beforehand. I'm trying 30 minutes before, 15 minutes before, 10 minutes before, 5 minutes before. It's not submitting. And I was like, well, truly, this is my own fault. Like, this is the consequences of my own actions. And it's like that meme. But it gets past B1201 and like my application never submits. And I was like, this is great. Like, my life is not over because I did get applied to two schools I wanted, but the other two schools I probably have more of a chance getting into. That may have just cost me like a gap year kind of thing. And then so I don't submit it. And then next day I get an email from Vimcast. We experienced an online
I remember that
an
exact email.
yep, an online difficulty. If you didn't get to submit your application, you're in luck. You have one more day. So I submitted that bad boy. That really should have taught me from then on to like take it more seriously. It hasn't.
Well, from my perspective,
Mhm.
my own Vimcast story, it was actually both Team DSAS and Vimcast. For people listening who have no idea what those are, Team DSAS is the Texas application for
Medical,
veterinary.
dental,
Yeah,
school
all of it.
application. Yeah.
Then Vimcast is the same thing, but outside of Texas because
Mhm.
Texas is special, I
She's
guess.
so special.
Um, They actually updated it. TMDSAS. Yeah,
Mm,
it's a little bit, I think, more user friendly, or at
oh,
least
that's good.
looks that way. I don't know.
It didn't look user friendly whenever you
No,
used it.
it looks like it was made in the 90s because it
Yes, it
probably
did.
was. Um, but anyways, right, because I'm sure you were the same way. Everybody like works on it throughout the summer,
Mhm.
and me and the friends that I had who were also applying, we would used to go out to like Wings and More and get margaritas and read each other's essays and stuff
Oh,
like
okay,
that. And
yeah.
we would be talking. We would just be working
Mhm.
and filling out the application. So all we would talk about is the application and
Yeah.
what we would be doing. And I had everything set up, and it isn't just like okay, put your name here, blah blah blah, write this info. It's like I need to go through my entire life from the start of high school to
Yes.
now, and like
Yeah.
what else can I add to make myself look even better, and
Mhm.
how can I reword stuff. And
Yeah.
so I finally got things like crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, and I had one um one letter of rec left, and it's from a doctor that I worked for at a equine hospital the summer before. Yeah,
Mhm.
it wasn't that summer. It was the summer. Maybe it was that summer. Now I can't remember. Anyways, doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
Really great guy. He
Yeah.
actually works at this large animal hospital now. Super great guy.
Mm, mhm.
He's I'm sure he's written like dozens of letters for vet students
Yeah.
who are not only graduated by now but are in vet school right now. He's just that good of a guy.
Mhm.
He I email him like a week before. I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, this is the date." And he's like, "I know. I got it." Kind of thing. 3 days before, I email him. I was like, "Hey, just so you know." The day before, I'm like, "Hey, it is due tomorrow
Yeah,
at."
like, I need you to help
Yeah.
me.
I I want to say the Team DSAS one was due at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
and then Vimcast was midnight. Don't know why. Team DS was like the end of the
That's
workday,
yeah.
but that morning I woke up and I'm like, I open the portal. I'm like, it's not in, and I
Yeah.
I call him and I'm like, I call the hospital and I was like, hey, can you like, can someone go tell him? I almost drove down there, but the I actually did drive down there the day before to remind him in person. And he calls me an hour before, like it's 4 o'clock, and he's like, "It's in. Like, can you make sure it's in?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's in." And I hit submit, and it was like good to go. It said you have
Oh my
submitted whatever,
gosh.
and he's like, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Nah, you're chilling."
I'm fine. I wasn't stressed out at all.
Nah,
It was so good.
I really like. Part of me was stressed, but the other part of me was like, it's kind of out of my control. And
Yeah,
he is just such a good guy that I was like, I'm not faulting him
it'll be
for it.
fine. Yeah.
So
You also
you
did.
can be an
Yeah,
amazing veterinarian and
true.
still procrastinate.
So true. So true. It's it's funny, Tyler, because I procrastinate. This is gonna sound really silly. I procrastinate about even texting people back. And I don't know if it's like a mind space thing, like an inner, like I don't have the energy to respond to all these people right now. But you don't even want to know how many unread messages I have on my phone. It's quite ridiculous.
Oh, you got like constantly some number
Oh,
of unread
oh, oh
messages.
yeah.
Oh, that would stress me
Oh
out.
yeah. You know what? You think it would for me too, but I think I've just been like out of sight, out of mind, even though I can see it. I'm like, I'm just gonna ignore it. And so my procrastination in like school has like transferred over to my text messages of like, oh, I'll get to that in a second. Oh, I'll get to that in an hour. It's kind of ridiculous. So I have to like try to make a pact with myself. When this person responds, if I'm not doing something, you need to do everything in your power to text them back because if you're not going to, it's going to be days, if not weeks, which is kind of ridiculous. And so I'll even get to the point of like, I'll unpin all of my messages and then it'll just be like 9 messages of people I haven't responded to. And so they just have like, are staring at me. And so I have to do it. And so it's so ridiculous. I don't know why, but yeah, it's still a problem. It's definitely still a problem.
Huh. I could not leave someone. If I click on a message and the little icon that reminds me goes
Mhm.
away, then I will forget about it if I don't respond to it right then and there.
Mhm.
But outside of that, I might leave someone hanging until the end of the day.
You're much better than me.
I
Yeah.
would just stress me out to have like an it looks like an unread message on a text message. If it's an email, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll accumulate 200 emails in
Mhm.
a day and a half and not blink an eye.
Mhm.
And but if it's a text message, I'm like, oh, this someone texted me. I should I should respond. And
Yeah.
so I tell people if I'm like, if you need to get a hold of me, either call me or text me. If you email me, then it cannot be that important. It just can't.
Yeah.
Um, I say that I email for this podcast only because I don't have people's number
No,
to
and it's a
reach
lot of
out.
information you have to send out.
Oh yeah,
So that's
yeah. I could do
understandable.
that in a text message. A
It might
giant
take me a
paragraph.
while. It might take me a while, but I could probably text it.
Do
Just give me a few business weeks.
you ever procrastinate looking at social media?
Okay. So this is going to sound really silly once again, and I'll admit it, but I don't procrastinate looking at social media, but my DMs, so many unread messages. And then also just from like friends and stuff, not even like, oh, I'm trying to hit you up. No, not like that. Just like friends that have sent me stuff or something. Or like even when I'll post something on Instagram and I'll have some sweet friends that comment or something. I'm like, oh, I should like message them back. I don't. I just don't ever get to it. I don't know why. I'm like, oh, I'll do it. I'll do it later. And it does stress me out. And so I don't know like why I just let it build up, but I do.
Hmm. So you'll procrastinate at doing things on social media.
Yeah, it's like a constant thing.
I feel like people have the opposite issue. Like the average person has an issue with being on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok for an extended period of time.
I think one reason I've been able to kind of separate the two is because I know that I can be an obsessor about things. So, like in high school, for example, and TikTok was like becoming popular, and we were before COVID, or maybe already in COVID. I remember that I would like scroll on my phone for 2 hours, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So, deleted TikTok. Haven't had TikTok since. And then, like, I have to set time limits on my apps like a child for each of my social media apps because I know that it can get to that point of where like I will mindless scroll sometimes. And so I have some boundaries at least with
Those
it.
are good boundaries to have.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like a mixture of the two, I would say.
I think that's my kryptonite is I have Instagram and YouTube for it's my way of like de-stressing
Hmm.
because what else am I going to do? Like think about other things and cuz I it's it's the equivalent of turning on the TV for the modern day cuz who now just goes I was like, "Oh, let's see what's on TV." No one. No one.
Yeah, it's let's pull up Netflix or Peacock or
See, even that's like that's even that's different. Turning on the TV to find a show was like it could be in the middle, it could be at the very end, it could have just started. You know that it's going to be this long and every so often there's going to be a commercial and it's really not that serious. It's kind of like the old version of brain rot
so true.
and now it's like you you could get the same like a similar experience but you got to go on Netflix and intentionally choose it and then actually sit down. There is no break.
Hmm.
And then I don't know, it kind of leans you towards a show or a movie that you actually need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
But no, the I deleted TikTok freshman year of undergrad
Hmm.
because it was during COVID and I would sit in my room and be like, I need to study. But I've been just scrolling on my phone at my
Yeah.
desk
It
for an
sucks you in.
hour. And I'm like, I can't even remember any things I just
Hmm.
watched. Like, what am I doing? So I deleted it. And I'm like, look at me. Look at how great I am. Instantly did the same thing with Instagram. I was like,
No,
what?
yeah. No, 100%.
So
Instead of like on the contrast of that kind of like numbs your mind a little bit, what kind of fills
what do you mean fills my cup?
like in the sense of stuff that aside from vet med that kind of like bring you joy or like hobbies in a sense. that kind of like can distract you from vet med and just like give you like a break? Like I know you like working out, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like gym. So is that kind of like one of your things for you?
That's one of them.
Yeah. What are
I
some other things?
One of the reasons that I started the podcast was to find an avenue to use energy and brain power, but not towards, I guess, critical thinking in the way that we do it with school.
Hmm.
I don't have to sit here and actually have the right answers for most things. If anything, I have to have the right questions. And some days I'm better at that than others, which is fine. But beforehand, like during school, I will make sure that I work out once a day, in some manner, minus 1 or 2 days a week.
Hmm.
And outside of that, I'm usually doing something for school.
Yeah.
And then people have to like kind of drag me out to go somewhere.
Hmm.
And even then, it's usually we go to someone's house and we just hang out for a little bit. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, guys, it's midnight. If I keep going, it'll be 4 in the morning before we know it. And I cannot survive tomorrow if we do that. So, because then what happens is I usually am on call at like 8 a.m. the next morning, over the weekend,
Hmm.
because I try and hold a job, a small part-time job in the small animal hospital while doing school. And those are mostly weekend on-call shifts where I I just operate the MRI. It's not zero stakes, um, but I need to be like able to think
Yeah.
while doing it. It's
Yeah.
not I can show up with no
Hungover.
sleep and yeah, hungover and um so there have been many times where I'm like, guys, it's really late. I need to go home and
I'm a
um
working boy.
yeah, which my friends are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're doing it. You have no excuse, which is uh, something I can say is in undergrad I did not party or go out to like I went to 2 football games and
That's sad, Tyler.
I didn't enjoy either of them.
Well, yeah,
I
then that's also sad.
Here's the thing. I went to 2 football games and the entire time it was me and a couple of people and we were all in the same opinion where we're like, we'd rather be doing something else right now. And I think the reason that I didn't enjoy it was because I wasn't with the people that I would enjoy
Yeah.
that situation with.
Yeah.
So
You're still finding your group, maybe.
yeah, one of the downsides of starting undergrad during COVID was the fact that I couldn't find anybody.
Hmm.
It took until the spring semester for me to be like, hey, they have a lacrosse team. I used to play lacrosse. Why don't I just go out there?
Yeah.
Even then, I was like, I'm a fish out of water. I'm not like the typical jock athlete kind of person.
Yeah.
They're all making jokes, hanging out, doing all that stuff. On the weekend, going partying. I didn't do that. So
Hmm.
I literally showed up to practice, hardly talked to anybody, and then
Hmm.
went home. But
Yeah.
um, it like forced me to be around other people. The I'm kind of ranting, but the starting vet school, you are put in a group of people, 180 people. I almost
Hmm.
said kids, but like a lot of our classmates are not kids.
They have kids.
Yeah, they have, which is wild and super impressive. But no, you're in a group of 180 people that are doing the exact same thing that you are doing and probably have a very similar story of getting into vet school, when it comes to work ethic and sacrifice. And so when it comes to an opportunity for downtime and kind of getting away from working, there is no excuse from the perspective of I need to do this thing. Like I need to be the vet student right now. It's like, no, it's Friday. Um, Friday evening, like let's
Hmm.
all go hang out. We
Hmm.
have the same classes and we have the same test on Monday.
Yep.
So we're doing it, so can you,
Yeah.
kind of thing, which didn't exist in undergrad. Because
So
in
true.
at least in the back of my mind, it was I need to go. Like I'm applying into vet school in like freshman year. It was like in 3 years.
Hmm.
Sophomore year is in 2 years. Like it was always. this is coming up kind of thing, and
Yeah.
everybody outside of that, it was like, you don't have to worry about it, so you get that luxury.
Mhm.
So it made it easier to say no. Now
Mhm.
it's a lot harder. I don't know how you
Yeah.
feel about it.
No, I feel the same in the sense of an undergrad. I didn't have a whole lot of like my core friend group was not from animal science, was not from like people that wanted to go to vet school. Like you're saying, for example, y'all would work on your applications together at Wings of More, Drink a Marg. That was not me. Like I didn't talk to anybody about my application. And I don't know if that was just me being weird or didn't really know many people that were also applying like or were close to them. And so in undergrad, my biggest thing was like sophomore year, I lived in a sorority house at A&M. And so it was like, I'm in not to be dismissive, but like I was in this house with a lot of girls that were business majors and comm majors and like didn't have to wake up and take an OChem exam in the morning. And so where they could go like party out until 3 a.m. and close down Northgate. And so that was hard in the sense because I had like all these friends doing these fun things and I had such bad FOMO of like, but no, this is what I need to do. Like you just said, in 2 years, I'm applying to vet school. In 1 year, I'm applying to vet school. Like I want to set myself in the best possible position because I want this so badly and I've wanted this my whole life that like this is what's more important right now. And so I would say that I've gotten it's been like gone in waves because freshman year I went out a lot. And I don't know if that's just because living on the north side of campus like was easy to walk over to Northgate and stuff with all these new sorority friends I had. But then junior year and sophomore year, I like kind of didn't had to study on school, had to say no to a lot of things. And then senior year, I could finally like relax again and have a little bit more downtime and bring my hobbies back and stuff like that. So, and then in vet school, it honestly changes on the week. Like, I get what you're saying about like your friend group telling you, oh, we all have the same exam on Monday. Like, you'll be fine, come out. But from my perspective, it's like, yes, we all have the same exam on Monday, but you might have to study a whole lot less than I need to study to like be the same level of preparedness because X, Y, and Z reasons. So yes, still try to go out, but also like I have to remind myself when I try to like bring a friend out or vice versa that just because we have the same thing going on whatever day doesn't mean that they don't have other things going on too, or they're in the same mindset that I am in right now, or same like energy level type stuff.
Do you find yourself comparing yourself to, that's a horrible way of phrasing that. Do you find yourself comparing classmates to your own position?
Like how I'm doing in school.
That, or I guess mostly that, because I think that people fall into that category more easily, but it
Hmm.
could be outside of school as well.
All the time, like for both, all the time. I'll talk about the latter first. We're definitely in the stage of life where, like, I just turned 24. Um, Everyone from high school is married, has kids, doing all the things, getting engaged left and right, and it's so hard for me not to compare and to be like, wow, this is maybe not where I thought my life was going right now. Like maybe, or not maybe, I didn't think I would be single, going like living by myself, kind of like when I'm this age, but also on the opposite end of the spectrum, I have to like remind myself of, wow, this is also everything that you've ever wanted and like tried so hard to be. And like, yes, you're in this tough stage of life right now, but you have like so many, it's gonna sound silly, but like you're bearing so much fruit in other avenues. So, yes, you might not be in a relationship, doing all the things, picking out wedding venues like your best friend is right now, getting ready to get married in a couple weeks, but you are like pouring your passion to a different avenue. So it's definitely hard to compare, I would say, for friends that I have are not in vet school, and even some friends that are in vet school that are in different life paths than me, I would say. And then school comparatively, yes, I have a bad problem of doing that, especially first year, because I tend to think that, like, okay, I feel like I'm not good enough for my parents from them being so smart, them being the top of their class in professional school. Okay, I feel like I'm not good enough because I didn't do as well on this exam that my friend did. okay, I feel like I'm not good enough because we walked out of the exam and I definitely got a lot more wrong than all that they're talking about right now. So what I have to do for me, which has helped me a lot, is in my friend group, which I like, is that don't talk about grades. And that's kind of like a unspoken spoken thing of like you never know how someone's going to feel afterwards. So don't like talk about grades unless both people want to, for example, and then also everyone has different goals in vet school. Like for example, for me, I don't want to pursue residency afterwards. Like I think I want to go straight into general practice. So my primary goal right now is yes, passing my classes, but also learning and obtaining the information and like for a long period of time. Whereas somebody else might be trying to, yes, learn, obtain the information, all the things, but also do the best they can in their class, which is incredible. That's just not the same goal that I have right now. And so I also have to like realize that. But I'm still like, they're better than me. I'm like not as good. And so that's definitely still something that I struggle with, but try to think of like bigger picture, bigger end goal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, first year is definitely a weird experience to be around a very high achieving group of individuals. And I've constructed a theory that the people who have made all A's since they've been, brought into this world, because there are a number of people who are like that.
Mhm.
Once they get into, I want to say that med school would be somewhat similar. I have no idea though, or dentist school or any professional program higher than an undergraduate education.
Mhm.
That the difficulty is so high and that there's so much information that there is a large group of people who can make all A's going up to all the way up to the end of their undergraduate career, and then starting professional school. It is just so that much more difficult to make all A's,
Mhm.
and the drive isn't there as much
Yeah.
for a plethora of reasons
Yeah.
that that type of person needs to come to grasp, like, it's okay not making all A's, and
Mhm.
like, seeing those people go through that, I was like, "I don't have to do that." I've never been the all A's kind of person, and
Yeah.
so it's almost like I'm almost lucky to be like, in high school, I didn't, I made A's and B's.
Mhm.
In undergrad, I started out making A's and B's
Mhm.
and then realized I was like, I have to try really hard to get into vet school. And so
Yeah.
making mostly A's was new for me. And what was required for that was new. So like starting vet school was like, I know I'm not going to be the best. I know I'm not going to make all A's. Like it was just if if that happened, like cool. Like
Yeah.
how lucky would that be?
Yeah.
And if it didn't, I'm just like, I'm not expecting it. But
Mhm.
other people were, and seeing them go through that, I was like, I'm sorry. Like I
Yeah.
don't know how that feels to be like to come to reality of like I don't know. I don't know if that type of person feels like they are. I don't want to say the word perfect because I
I feel like they feel like they're failing, which is so hard to like help them understand that no, you're not. Like you're doing great. Like in what like it sounds silly, but like in what you're doing. Like I had an anatomy lab partner
mhm,
first semester and she struggled with the same thing of made a 4.0 in undergrad, went to undergrad at A&M, and then large animal anatomy was really tough for her. And so she I think really, really struggled of like, I'm not good enough kind of thing. And it's hard to like help her understand I was never that like 4.0 person undergrad. And so like it's okay, but you just yeah.
it's also for people in that position, rarely is anybody the majority of people in I want to say in our class are very conscientious about how they affect the people around them.
Mhm.
So, it isn't very often that somebody in that position goes around like, why am I getting, a B in this one class and
Yeah.
not knowing that a lot of people around them would be happy to be in their shoes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they almost hide it. And it is kind of like a festering wound that they hide from everybody. It's like, and then eventually it just kind of like,
Erupts.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's interesting. I think, right, going back to my what theory I think I said earlier
Mhm.
was there's the type of person who makes all A's going into vet school and the type of person who doesn't.
Mhm.
And um coming to grasp of you don't have to is very challenging. And because like no one asks for your GPA.
Which is so, like, so true.
It
Yeah.
feels weird. Like it still feels weird.
Mhm.
And
I feel like that's what a big part of what defined you for your application
oh yeah,
is you're like, this number is me. And so you had to do so well, but now it does not matter.
cuz I'm saying all this. This past semester, I when waiting for my final grades to come out was stressed. I was like, did I make the cut?
Yeah.
And when in reality, like I should be saying it's okay
Mhm.
kind of thing. Cause I'm like, it's okay because I passed. Like I know I
Yeah.
passed,
Yeah.
but did I make the cut to make certain grades?
Mhm.
And the it would be a lot easier. Like a lot of this, I'm trying to say the right wording, and it isn't an absolute because you know how when we first started, Dr. Cornell was like, the competition's over.
Yeah.
I I I think that is true like 98% of the time.
Mhm.
For anybody trying to do residency afterwards,
Mhm.
currently, I would like to hear the opinion of somebody who's actually gone through residency and applied.
Yeah.
But like it seems like that isn't necessarily the case. Not in the way like you should be competing with the people taking the exam next to you and your friends. Like that's a horrible mindset. And
Mhm.
like the exact reason or one of the reasons why she says it at the beginning of vet school is like the competition's over. Do not fight each other for grades. Like that isn't how it
Yeah.
works. Please like help each other
Mhm.
try and learn because it's productive.
Mhm.
But when it comes to applying for residency, like class ranks matter.
Yeah.
Your GPA matters.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to not think like, what are the people around me doing?
Mhm.
And so, like, I go back and forth all the time. I think the only reason that I can kind of stay sane is because I know that a large majority of people don't want to do residency, not because they can't do it,
That's
but
no,
it's
you're really
because
yeah.
they don't want to do
Mhm.
it, or like GP is like the reason they did it to begin with, and they are
Yeah.
staying with that path.
Yeah.
Some people flip over from GP like as an ambition to, oh, I actually like this thing so much that I would be perfectly fine doing 4 or
Mhm.
5 years after vet school in this specific thing, which is
Yeah.
great. I think that if I was in med school and everybody had to do residency, I don't know how I would deal with it because the
It would
entire
be
time I would be
hard
thinking,
because you're compete well, another thing that this was the case not the case for my mom, but one of my mom's classmates who's in med school now at A&M, theirs is pass fail because they all of their classes their first 2 years are pass fail and then they take their big thing is having research involvement because everyone's kind of like at that same playing field as for example all being passed, so it's now like okay, how do I set myself up above this person because GPA is all the same. And so then it's going into research and having different your names on articles and stuff like that. So it's similar and also different from med school from what I hear. But you're exactly right that GPA matters for residency. And I think that's a lot of the reason that I have like been able to take a breath of fresh air because I'm like, okay, like I truly, like I said earlier, need to pass, need to want to do, like, I still want to have like this high ambition and do well, but it's not the end of the world. Even if like someone that does want to go to residency, it's not the end of the world either. But I feel like I could take more of a breath of fresh air. That makes sense.
I think a more simplistic way of thinking about it is in terms of a sport, but more of a sport for like a little kid. And what is the adage that parents tell their kids? Like, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Yeah,
It's not whether or not you get an A or a C, it's how you go through vet
exactly.
school,
Yeah.
which is a horrible, like, someone needs to make that sound a lot better than the way I
No,
made it
I
sound, but
agree. Tell Dr. Cornell, put it in
put
the
that on a shirt.
orientation. Yeah, put it on a
Um,
shirt.
but like, because I can imagine that a scenario where if you go through vet school and all you do is worry about getting good grades, that when you get out, it would be worse. You would be worse off as a veterinarian in practice
Mhm.
than if you were actually focusing on what you were setting yourself up to do in the future.
Yeah.
Um, that's real complicated because it's 4 years and so much information and
Mhm.
over a dozen different species.
Yeah.
Um, like five or six main ones, but like really a dozen species. The number of times that we've talked about birds, I'm like, oh, I know I'm
Not
a
again.
nabily. Like
Not
I'm
again.
just gonna need a week of studying birds straight, and even by the end of it, I'll be like, I don't know if I could do this. Um, birds scare me.
Yeah, no. Don't worry me too that and exotics. I'm like, I'll study it, but then after that, I don't think I'll touch it.
I mean, yeah, I have that mindset for some things. That's how I am with large animal stuff. Even though I
Yeah.
with an animal science background, like I'm more comfortable talking about equine stuff or cattle stuff over like swine
Mhm.
because I don't have very much swine experience.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know in 20 years, I'm going to be 10 years, 15 years removed from talking about this at all.
Yeah.
So it's more of like, okay, get it over with kind of
Mhm.
thing.
True. That's true.
Mm.
That's a good point.
What's your mindset moving forward going to third year?
Oh, that's such a loaded question. Um, I wish I could say that I had a lot less anxiety about it and a lot more excitement, but honestly, I think a lot of the anxiety is towards feeling like I should know more than I do right now and not like goes back to the whole comparing thing we were just talking about, but not so much comparing grades, but comparing how much I've retained to other people. And like, am I at the level that I'm supposed to be? I think that's what's kind of giving me a little anxiety. And like what is it, the VEA? Is that what the exam's called in the fall?
Oh, the in the fall. You mean fourth year?
No, our
What do you are you like a
the
practice?
pre-navally practice thing. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know how to name.
Oh, I think it's VEA.
Okay.
I could be wrong. VEA thing that we're doing in September, October, whenever that is, or September or August. Um, I think now my anxiety is kind of around that when it's not for a grade, just like a benchmark to see where you're at. But I'm like, what if I'm not where I'm supposed to be? What if I'm failing A&M? What if I'm like the outlier kind of thing? And so I would say going to third year, I have a lot of excitement, especially about surgery, because surgery is something that like I'm really interested in going forward into practice. Like I'm really interested in small animal orthopedic surgery. And so I'm really excited to kind of dive more into that with live animals, but on like the same stone, anxious that I'm not don't know enough where I'm supposed to be right now. And I feel like that's kind of the same feeling I have going into every externship of I don't want to look dumb or I
Hmm.
don't want to look. And maybe that's the part of me that like wants to seem perfect when I know that's so far from the truth, but I just don't want to seem behind, I guess. I'm just trying to say. So excited, nervous, also sad because which sounds silly, but yes, I've been in school for 6 years now, and 8 years is a lot of school, but sad in the sense I'll only have one more year of classroom sitting next to the people that become my best friends that I never expected. And before we like all part our ways. And so this is kind of forced hangout time, which is nice. Because we get to see each other every day. And so I've missed summer being with them and like seeing everyone in our class. because that brings me a lot of joy, even though like we're all in the trenches together. But it's very bittersweet thinking of we're like coming over halfway done with like vet school and ever coming closer to our white coat into fourth years, and it's like makes me a little emotional, to be honest. So I would say a lot of emotions is what I'm feeling right now.
I think that's all valid. I have been shadowing on my in between times with research. I've been shadowing a couple of people on the clinic floor in the small animal hospital, and it's been super cool. Very unique cases, and I mean, the clinicians there are so knowledgeable on their specific field that I'm just like, you're here and I'm here. And kind of going back to what you said, like, should I know more for where I am right now? There are some days I'm like, I know what they're talking about and I know these things. And then I ask a question. They're like, that's a really good question. And sometimes it's like, I don't think we know the answer to that question. Like, someone should look into that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
you walk away, you're like, man, I'm really like in the
I'm getting it. Like,
conversation.
yes.
And then
Yeah.
the next day, it's like, I don't know what they're talking about. They're mentioning some drugs that I remember the name, but I cannot
Yeah.
remember what they do.
Yeah.
And you know, I've kind of struggled a little bit over the past couple of weeks with that exact thought process.
Hmm.
And I think it wasn't until somewhat recently that I was thinking like, if they say, which pharmacology is not my strong suit, if they say a drug name and I can't, immediately think of the mechanism of action and why they would be using the drug, write it down, go and look at it again and see why it wasn't coming up.
Yeah.
Don't just say, "Oh no, I should know this, and I don't. I am a
Hmm.
bad student," kind of
Hmm.
thing. Because then I like legitimately during pharmacology, I was afraid to go to class because I was like, I'm not doing well in this class as opposed to other things. It's
Hmm.
not my strong suit. And so there was this inherent fear whenever anybody mentioned a drug because it was like, I should know more than I do inherently because it's pharmacology.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, no, do the thing, like go back and write it down and say, it's okay. Now I can know for next time.
Hmm.
Um,
100%.
I'll probably be doing that forever because there are just so many drugs. It's so frustrating. I I actually saw this on Instagram before you got here. Do you know he's an MD, he's an ophthalmologist. I think his name's Dr. Glockenflocken.
No.
Crazy name. I think that's the actual name. It's
Yeah.
a condition in ophthalmology in humans. I have no idea what Glockenflocken
Makes
is.
me think of like glaucoma.
Yeah, it has that vibe,
Yeah.
but I have no idea what it means. Anyways, he did like comedy medical stuff or whatever. And
Hmm.
now I see some more clips of him talking about like actual serious things in medicine. I want to say shout out to him, like go watch his stuff. But if
Yeah.
you're watching this, you most definitely know who I'm talking about. If you look him up, you're like, oh, this guy's like big. And it's like, if anything, like it's weird for me to shout at anybody who's like actually well known on the internet. But he shoot, what were we talking about?
Glockenflocken
Yeah.
talking
Oh, about
about,
knowing
yes,
drugs.
drugs.
Drugs. He made a skit about, I wanna say it was being a nephrologist, and then someone else is um, another kidney thing.
Urologist?
Yeah, urologist, and then there's the nephrologist, and then there's um, I think it was nephro-oncologist. And so, because human medicine, they're so specialized,
Hmm.
and it was just funny that there were like three different unique specialties within the same organ
Yeah.
system. And he was like, "How does one become nephro-oncologist or something like that?" Anyways, he kept repeating this really crazy drug name. I could not pretend to say it. It probably has 20 different characters in it. And that was the whole joke, is that this is a drug that no one really knows what it is. It's
Hmm.
just like there's this one study on it and it has a crazy name.
Yeah.
And so in my mind that's pharmacology. Just a bunch of drugs with crazy names that were
I agree.
have no business being called that. No business.
No, I
And
agree.
then they have their brand names, which someone
Don't
came
even
up
get me
with
started.
for like
Yeah.
marketing, and I'm like, can we not just like say this one's 1, this one's 2, this is heart medication 1, heart medication 1A, stuff, something like that.
I agree. I agree with you. And I'm so bad at pronouncing names. Ask sweet Micah and Olivia. They make fun of me constantly. And every single time that I will say something like we're studying in a group of 3, now it just pisses me off that I can like see them doing this, but I'll say a word and I'll say it wrong, and I can see them like side eye each other because they know if they bring it up to me that I'm gonna be like, "Ugh." And so they will side eye each other and they'll start laughing. They're like, "You said it wrong, babe. Like that's not how you say it." And then it has gotten to the point that my family knows, like not even pharmacology words, like basic human words that one should know how to pronounce that I cannot say well, like, I just add extra syllables and consonants for some reason, I don't know why, and so, one time so we have these things in vet school called, the moral talks, um,
Moral.
moral
Tomskis?
no,
Moral.
moral. The vets come in.
Oh,
What's it called?
those have a name.
They have a name.
I guess we can just describe it. They bring in private practitioners or faculty members in the
Mhm.
hospital, and we go over different situations, and not in more of a medical sense, but in a
Ethics session.
yes,
Ethics session, sorry,
talking
it
about
just came to me.
ethics.
Yes, ethics session. Anyways, one of Tyler's talking about clinicians that can come in. My dad was one of the vets that came in for the session, and this is when we were in the middle of pharmacology, and we had just had a pharmacology exam, and it was right around career job fair last fall, and he was in our class with our classmates in a group, whatever, and I guess it had gotten brought up how I cannot pronounce words. And no one's really supposed to know this, okay, besides my close friends. And then afterwards, one of the girls in our class comes up to me and says a drug name very wrong, how I would pronounce it. And so my sweet father told everyone that I cannot pronounce these certain names right. And it was just so funny. Like, you just couldn't help but laugh about it. But I have that same problem, long story short, about pronouncing things, and it's becoming a thing with not only my dad spreading it to other people, but Olivia too. So thank you for that.
Is there one word in particular that just keeps coming back?
Oh, not on the top of my head, to be honest. No, it would have been whatever one of the drugs that we learned during exam 2 in pharmacology. One of those many drugs. I'm sure there were several.
There are crazy names that there are crazy names for drugs that we don't learn because there's just so many, but there were some that we did learn. I was just like,
No thanks.
can't read that one.
No thanks.
Um, what was I was gonna say Flunix and Meglomine, but
Oh yeah, you did it right though. That was good.
there's another one. Oh,
Blue.
sulfamethoxazole. That one was that one took
That's
me a
not how I
while.
pronounce that. That's
No,
not how I
we don't have
pronounce
to
that.
expose how you
I think
pronounce
we're
it.
good. Yeah.
Um,
Took me a second to realize what you were saying, and I was like,
I saw it today. That was why it
mm,
reminded me.
mm.
But yeah, pharmacology is crazy. Anyways, what about fourth year? Are you nervous?
I would say, honestly, before this summer, I was a lot more nervous. And because before going into one of it, I will say, like, I do feel like A&M has prepared us really well. And because I went to this externship in La Mesa at this equine place that I was talking about, and I was the only A&M student there, and there was 2 girls from 4th year at Texas Tech, and so this was like their equine rotation, like the whole month since they don't have a teaching hospital. This is where they were doing it at, and I honestly felt very on par with them. Like there was obviously some things that they knew that I didn't, that they have learned in their 3rd year, but it did make me feel really good and like kind of like a sigh of relief of okay, like all the things they're doing, I can also do, like, up to this point, I feel like. And they know a little bit more than me, but if this is how 4th year rotations are gonna look like, I can do this, and it's honestly kind of fun. And it's cool that every rotation you'll be with a different group of people, And so I feel like sadly there's still people in our class that I have not had a conversation with, which I'm mad at myself for. But I feel like fourth year is a great way to connect with everyone in our class and get to talk with a lot of different clinicians. And so I would say I'm more excited than I was at the beginning of summer. Beginning of summer, I was terrified. Now I'm more excited about it, but also bittersweet because then vet school's coming to an end. In real world, I feel like I haven't. I don't know. It's kind of we were talking about earlier, comparing to other people in our lives, like different life stages. I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I'm still in school, where I don't feel like an adult yet. Like, yes, I pay for my rent and utilities. Like, thank you, FAFSA. But other than that, I don't feel like an adult. Whereas there are all these other people that have jobs and maybe have families that are doing adult things. And I'm like, wow, when that school ends, like, I have to be an adult now. Like, there's no more hiding, no more hiding from it. So
Part of me is excited for that.
excited to be in the adult world.
Yeah. I mean, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
Been in school for forever. Forever. Like, at no
yeah.
point have we not been a student.
It's become like our identity
Yeah.
completely.
I can't go, like, at that point, after graduation, I can't go to the store and be like, "It's okay that I'm, calculating which ground beef is cheaper,
No, yeah.
per pound and, like, how I can part that out for so many days," and,
No, that's so true.
like, and be like, "It's okay to be broke because like, I'm a college kid."
Mhm.
Which, like, we're not the traditional college kid anymore, but it's still justifiable.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know, but it's also exciting to be like, "Okay, a long road has ended. It's actually brought some kind of some kind of, I don't think reward is the right answer or the right word, but some kind of, conclusion has been made." I don't know how you feel, but going back to high school, I definitely jumped around between a number of things,
Mhm.
and then even in undergrad, it was most of the my identity when it comes to school or extracurricular activities. It was how can I build my resume for the next thing, and getting to vet school is great for that 1 week, maybe even that one summer, but that quickly goes away a couple weeks into the school year
Mhm.
during the first year in fall, and uh, at no point is it ever like a conclusion has been made. I have achieved this thing. Here you like now we're on to the next chapter,
Yeah.
especially since like going to vet school in the same location that we went to undergrad.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm still here, like still in school,
Mhm.
still going to the same grocery store, buying the same groceries and not these other
Yeah.
groceries because I can't afford them. And
Yeah.
so
No, I agree with you.
it'd be cool to
I
move
do.
on.
It will. At living in College Station for 8 years is a long time, and we will have both have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the other people I had on, Colton Pittman. I don't know if you
Oh,
know
yeah.
him.
Oh, 'cause graduation party
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Sean. Shout out
Um,
Sean and Colton.
crazy how other people know people I know, and it's like the world's connected. I'm
Aggie
always,
Network.
yeah, I'm always surprised when other people know the people I know as if the people I know live in a vacuum.
You know what? I had the same
Crazy.
exact problem. I'm like, I'm the only person that knows them. How do you know them? Yeah, but you're talking about Colton?
He came on here and we talked, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm moving out because he just graduated." He was
Mhm.
like, "I lived here for a decade," and I was like, "Oh,
It's crazy.
makes it sound, yeah, it makes it sound like a very
Yeah.
long time." And I've only been here for 6 years,
Mhm.
so
It's crazy because whenever I'll be 25 when we graduate, that means I will have lived here for over a fourth of my life.
yeah, but
Almost a third. No, a third. Yeah, third. 8 times 3.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a long time.
yeah, but we also haven't been alive for very long
Which, yeah, no, it's just so true.
comparatively.
Because there's a lot of my life that, I don't remember. But it's just kind of funny too. I guess, put it in perspective that no, it's been a big chapter of like where we are in the stage of life right now.
Yeah. I wonder how fast the next 6 years until 30 will go. That'll be interesting.
That's crazy.
Sorry to like stress you out.
Just add it on. Add it on the pile.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. Because earlier we were talking about comparing
Mhm.
between like grades and then comparing with outside of school things. Like, I'll do the same thing. I'll look at people that I know are married and have kids,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hmm, I'm not even close to any of that. And I'm spending most of my time doing things for my career, and I'm like,
Yeah.
at what time, like, what point is the other stuff going to come in? And
100%.
but I don't know. I don't know. I
I
don't really have an answer.
I feel like a lot of it, which we haven't talked about at all in the podcast, but something that I have to remind myself since my faith is big in my life is God's timing. Honestly, that's a lot of it. I don't know everything right now. I'm not supposed to know everything right now. And like that's okay. And that's like a lot of like what your faith I believe is about and just having comfort and knowing that there's like a bigger reason and there is a plan for you and it's okay. And I constantly have to remind myself of that, to be honest, that don't know everything. That's okay. You're not on path the same path as other people for a reason. So I don't know. Find comfort in that.
It's a good point. It's almost, I want to use the word stupid. I'm using it because I'm this way. It it is unproductive. That's a nicer way of saying it. It's unproductive to stress about things out of your control,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the life milestones of marriage, kids, buying a house, I don't know, like stuff like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
involves other people that and you cannot control other people. So,
So true.
stressing about it is just it's just that it's unproductive.
Unproductive.
And it takes away from
Stupid.
all the other stuff.
It does. It
It's stupid
does.
for me, not stupid for everyone else.
No,
There
I
we go.
agree.
That's
I
that's
agree
the
with
nicer
you.
way of putting
I
it.
agree with you.
The I do like sometimes I have to remind myself, and I'm not very good at it, being like, yeah, there's a plan, and not like if I gotta wait, then that's just how it's gotta be.
Hmm.
So, um, I feel like the same thing can be applied to school, like because you got in on your first time applying.
I did.
I know a number of people who are still applying. I actually the podcast that released today, that's exposing when we're recording this, but it
Caitlin.
released today, yeah, with Caitlin. She's still applying, and like, good for her for sticking in there.
Yeah.
One of the parts of the application, as you know,
Hmm.
is you got to write at least for A&M or the TMDSAS application. It's you have to write an essay of if you don't get in, if we don't allow you to go to vet school next year, it's like what are you gonna do?
Hmm.
And part of it, I want to say, I don't really know the answer, but I want to say that they want you to say I'm going to apply again at like a minimum. If you say, well, I'm done and I don't want to do this anymore, and this
Hmm.
was my one shot, then there'll be like, you don't want it enough, or you're not dedicated enough, or this
Yeah.
is just it's more like a whim
Hmm.
kind of thing. And the type of person that they want to accept is going to be someone who's like, no, if I don't get in, then I'm going to try the next year. And if I don't get in again, it's like the next year. It's like, I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah. And she's doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Takes a lot of grit.
one of the I want to say again, I am not on the application board, but I thought a lot about this when trying to apply.
Hmm.
The One of the mindsets that provides when gathering a pool of applicants and saying you are going to make up the next class
Hmm.
for a vet school
Yeah.
is the resilience required to get past the days that don't go the way that you would like them to go.
Yeah.
And like, it's we all say it's like, oh, vet school's tough. It's like that is true. It's almost more productive. I'm going to say that word a lot now that it's on my mind, but it's more productive to say it's like there are going to be days that go well and days that won't go well, and for a variety of reasons. And there's a saying, the path to victory is the same path to failure, except failure is just an earlier stop or an earlier off ramp. I think I
Yeah.
butchered that saying, but like they're the
I get the
same,
gist though. I get what you're trying to say.
like they're the same direction. You just have to get past the failure part.
Mhm.
So, and with that part of the application saying is like, if I don't get in, I'm going to apply again. Like,
Mhm.
and not only am I going to apply, I'm going to do these things to make sure I fill in the gaps in my application or
Do it
make
differently.
myself more well rounded
Yeah.
for the next time I apply. So, you know, I don't know how we got on that topic, but
No, I see what you're trying to say though, and I feel like that's a good for anybody that's trying to get into that school. That is good advice to have because I today in one of my tours that I gave one of the students, they get to ask me questions and whatever. We did a full hospital tour of small and large, and then our VBET complex, which is just like our buildings at our vet school. And one of them had asked me, was first year hard? I was like, yes, it was. But I think it was hard because I didn't know what yes, I knew what to expect, but I didn't know how to adjust quite yet. So once you adjust, it's still going to be tough. It is like, and the road to failure is still there, but how do you like persevere and how do you face like the adversity and those challenges is what makes it less tough. Because second year for me was quote unquote easier. The classes were not any easier for me, but I just learned how to adapt better and learned like had a better understanding of what was asked of me, I think. And when you're talking about well-rounded individual, part of I think of learning how to do that is like the experiences that you have in undergrad, which is why not only having vet hours, for example, is going to be end all be all. Like not having a 4.0 in undergrad is end all be all because you need to be able to have like those different experiences and show that like you know how to do multiple things at once, to be honest, and can juggle a high course load with also being involved on this and that. And so I was really grateful that I was super involved in undergrad for that reason, because it's super applicable to vet school. Like it's still going to be tough. That's not changing. That's not going anywhere. But it's how do you learn from like maybe your past mistakes and keep on going towards like your victory road, like you're talking about.
one of the things that I think inherently think about whenever constructing an application or a resume or anything like that, or
Mm-hmm.
even about to go into an interview, I always try and get myself in the frame of mind of what if I was in the other person's shoe, whether that's on the application board for, vet school or any other application I'm filling out, or I'm the boss of the job that I'm trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
I I try and put myself in their shoes and be like, okay, what is the type of person that I would want to accept for this position? And it kind of makes it easier to make decisions on, okay, I should do this instead of that, or should I really be worrying about this, like these things? And
A saying that I used to hate so much that my brothers used to say to me all the time just pissed me off and it really worked was it's not that deep. And I think it is I've become to like the saying because it truly like kind of what you're saying it's not that deep. Like with certain applications, resumes or whatever, like a lot of the times like you're saying you don't have to overthink it. Just think of what is this person looking for and try to like embody that in whatever application. Don't like put so much stress on it. Don't like dive deep into it like it's going to happen or it's not going to happen, but it's not that deep.
yeah, I definitely heard that a number of times over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you like why, but that sounds so familiar. But when when I think about looking at a resume specifically, like if I was hiring someone for a job,
Mhm.
I would definitely lean towards the type of person who doesn't have the 4.0, but didn't like completely let their grades go.
Mhm.
Somebody who was like, I can prove to you that I did everything in my power to develop these skills,
Yeah.
to work hard, And then when I realized that I was falling behind in my grades, or maybe they didn't even fall behind in their grades, because like in my position in undergrad, I didn't fall behind necessarily in the fall of my first year, because that was when I think I had the lowest GPA. It wasn't like there's a common story of I gooped around for the freshman year of undergrad and had a 2.5, and now I got to climb my way out of this hole I dug,
Mhm.
and hopefully I can make it to like my GPA high enough by making all A's over the next 3 years, to the point where they don't just pass me by on the application. Like that
Yeah.
happens, and it's a tough place to be in. And even in that situation, like if you can essentially make your resume as the strongest argument possible that over those next 3 years that you completely changed and like have turned yourself into the best type of applicant for that position, I would I would reach for that resume faster than someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm a 4.0. I did all the right things, because in the this kind of goes back to the type of person who is doing well in vet school, but is struggling with like the off class that isn't going the way that they expect it to, because the class isn't necessarily that difficult. It's just among all the other things, it's falling through the cracks.
Mhm.
There there is a there is going to be a response for that individual that will not come with the other person that I described. And so it's almost as if knowing both ends of the spectrum, knowing what it's like to be the underdog and the winner, is more advantageous than just knowing what it means to win.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But on that same view, sorry to like cut you off, but
You're good. You're good.
it is also it's also weird to tell somebody in that position who has the 4.0 in undergrad and like does all these different clubs and is the president of this organization and like has multiple research experiences, like to be like, well, but this other person who doesn't have all that other stuff is going to be selected before you, and they're like, why? Like I
Yeah.
did better.
Yeah.
And so I it's almost like it is good to recognize which person you are and to work towards the different direction. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're the 4.0, try and drop your GPA,
Mhm.
but it means like to pull yourself into the mindset of, you know, grades aren't the most important thing. You can still focus on them. But if you are so fragile that getting the off grade will break you, you that is a deterrent of your own resilience. So I think that's the best way that I could frame that. If making not a 95, for example, on an exam gives you some kind of off feeling after receiving that information, then you need to recognize that like you should be able to bounce back from the slightest inconvenience, and having a negative emotion when it comes to like a B in a class, that will not do you well when you're out in the real world and you have your first patient that doesn't do well when you make a
Yeah.
mistake.
Or a minor complication,
Yeah.
or like how are you going to come back from that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And the thing that stuck out to me in what you were initially saying was like those people that have they're like well rounded, but they're the underdog. They're so deserving of being an applicant, but it just sucks because there's so many people just like that. And so it's like, how do you choose the best? Because I know so many people in our class and then the incoming class that didn't get in. And I'm like, truly, I don't know if like just say you slip through the cracks the first time, or there's just that high of a demand. And it stinks. It really does, because there's no reason I can think of why you shouldn't be a vet, but there's some reason they see that you're not ready yet, and I couldn't tell you what that is. Like, I'm not on the admissions committee, but it's hard because, like, I know your character and I know your worth ethic and your ability, and so there's nothing I can say but keep trying, like, keep having that resilient mindset and, like, hope for the best, but it sucks. Like, there's no better way to put it, in my opinion.
There's a lot of luck to it, I feel like.
Yeah,
And I don't know how that luck can be described.
I feel like I heard one point that it's something along the lines of people that are lucky are people that work hard. And on the sense of like more so the people that are lucky is because they have given themselves the opportunity to have like that luck, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
A number of the things that I feel like I talk about, especially with classmates, are the same, like for each podcast. So it's probably like a broken record, but who cares? I know a number of people that when I got in, I everyone was so timid. I don't know how about in your
Yeah.
circles, but everyone was timid. They'll be like, "Did you get
No,
in?"
because it's
Like,
like I don't want to like upset you if I got in if you didn't, and like
yeah,
vice versa. Because I want to be like, I don't know, what word am I trying to think of?
like mindful.
Thank you. Yes, I want to be mindful of like your feelings and like your scenario, but also like I'm excited. But I want to be excited for you if like this is the case. So no, yeah,
Yeah, I
100%.
wasn't like that. I see. I knew good and well that some people would get upset, or not even upset at me, but upset at the fact that they didn't get in, and
Yeah,
saying that they didn't get in would bring that out even more.
yeah,
So, but even still, I was like, "Did you get in?" And then it was like after that, I can be like, "I am so sorry," like all this other stuff, and
mm-hmm.
because like in my mind, I was like, "Yeah, it sucks to say that you didn't get in." It also sucks to talk about your feelings in a lot of ways. So in some
Sucks
ways,
either way.
I'm like
Let's rip it up.
saying
Let's
it,
rip off the band-aid. Yeah,
yeah. And but
yeah.
I knew a number of people that didn't get in, and I was like, I would have bet money that you over me any day of the week,
So
and it didn't
yeah,
happen.
the luck thing that you're talking about.
So yeah, that was the day that that applications came out. Was it really set in like it's set in stone in my mind. I was like, oh, there really is a large amount of luck in this system, like just by nature.
But also, you like deserve to be in the program.
Okay, I don't mean it like I got in, like how did that
Yeah,
happen,
I know what
kind
you
of
mean,
thing.
but also like I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It was just it was just so interesting. Um, no, the it kind of came to mind while you were talking that if you put it in if you use the housing market as kind of a weird reference, I know it's a weird reference, but it's definitely a seller's market for vet schools.
True.
Like it's like the people who got the tickets to get in vet school, it's like who are metaphorically selling it, like
Mhm.
they got all the power. They're like they
Yeah.
get the cream of the crop, they get whoever they want. Like
Yeah.
I think this is all hypothetical, not hypothetical. This is all theoretical and like word of mouth kind of thing. I do not know anything about Texas Tech other than what people have said. But
Mhm.
like the first couple of years, it seemed like everybody who was getting even an interview were almost like um fully invested in large animal medicine, which all makes sense. Like they were at least from my perspective advertising themselves as like that
They
large animal
wanted
focused
rural animal practitioners.
because of the decrease or the increased demand and decreased production of large animal veterinarians in the modern world, because small animal medicine just has like it has all the upsides. You can
Mhm.
go wherever you want because they're needed everywhere. There aren't cow calf operations in the middle of Denton, like you said.
Yeah.
They make more money.
Mhm.
They're
More benefits.
more benefits, less physically demanding in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Um, I can imagine that if you worked at a feline only clinic and you saw a bunch of angry kitties all day compared to some I could not more of a relaxed large animal job. I can't think
Mhm.
of one because they're all so physically demanding, but I'm sure there's one out there.
Mhm.
But for all those reasons, like I can understand why they're doing that. Um, but like they're able to do that because of the nature of the application process right now, because there are so many people that want to get in that won't that year.
Yeah, and so that's actually really frustrating, in my opinion, because so my I have friend's relative term. Her friend, they no, they're their friend, their friend, but they got into Tex vet school this most previous cycle, and don't get me wrong, he's a deserving candidate. He will be a great veterinarian, but there's just certain things on his application that I know aren't true, that he knows aren't true because he knows what tech wants to hear. In the sense of he kind of proclaimed himself that he wants to be dairy vet only. I'm so passionate about dairies. I want to go be a dairy vet. I want to come out to West Texas, and that's all I want to do. And he got accepted. And that's not remotely what this boy wants to do. And so it's annoying because I get part of it that you might just like have to play the game, that tell them what they want to hear so you can get in. But also it's like, well, someone that didn't play the game and responded fairly and who I think would be a great candidate didn't get in or didn't get an interview to tech, and they are large animal focused, and that makes no sense to me. And so it's, I don't know, I have mixed emotions about it because I'm like, okay, maybe you played the game and you understood the assignment better of what they were looking for and how to get in. But also, he kind of cheated, in my opinion. And maybe cheated is a Jurassic term, but I don't know. They do proclaim themselves as large animal focus, but I have had some people that I know that didn't get in that do want to do large animal, and so it kind of confuses me. I
Well,
don't know.
I on its face, I don't really have too much of an issue with a school being like, no, we really only want people who are going to do large animal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In the back of my mind, if I predicted like vet school in 100 years, like far enough in advance that I actually don't have to see the results of my prediction, honestly, but no, like far enough in advance that there's so much time that really anything could happen. I could see that veterinarian, like vet school splitting to small animal focused, large animal focused, exotic animal focused. Be- there needs to be enough vet schools just in production in order to do that. I say in production, not production animal, but production of veterinarians.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be enough of them to do that. There aren't right now. A&M, like Texas itself, does not have the ability to say, "Oh, A&M is only small animal," because we're the large. Like Tech is here now. Like they could do the large animal stuff, but their class is like a third of the size, and it's that isn't feasible in today's age. In Texas, like we have two vet schools now. Some states don't even have one.
Mm-hmm.
So on its face, I don't have a problem with that philosophy, but with any application, if you start showing prejudice towards one thing or another, you're starting to play a new game, and play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You're gonna like n- if I again, I'm not, but if I was a part of the people constructing that framework for Texas Tech's application process and being like, hey, we're going to be large animal focused. So we're going to accept people who are interested in this part of veterinary medicine. Then I would instantly, like, the next step would be, how can we verify that on the application that they are actually interested in what they are saying
Yeah.
that they are interested in? And even then,
And how do you do that? Like a skills test? Like,
well, if you introduce a skills test before vet school, then you would be judging based off of
true.
prior
So true.
skill. Like, it sounds redundant, but you would be judging on things that you would,
Expect them to know when they don't aren't expected to know yet, kind of thing.
yeah, you know, for people who haven't gone through the applica or the interview process at A&M, they tell you before doing the multiple mini interviews, like, we're not judging you based off of your veterinary knowledge because
Mhm.
they will present veterinary situations where
Mhm.
they're judging you based off of your um the way that you think in tough situations.
Yeah.
And so you don't need to know the medical solution to the issue. You just need to know how to deal with it as a person. And
Mhm.
so, and on the first day, they're like, you did it. Like, you don't necessarily need to know a bunch of stuff about veterinary medicine before going to vet school. It's like, that's what vet school is for.
Yeah.
And so, as soon as you introduce like part of the application process where you vet people based off of their uh, pre-existing skills, you're gonna cut out the people who have a lot of prospect, but they didn't grow up on a farm or they didn't know they
Mhm.
wanted to be a vet until like halfway through undergrad, but they still have stellar grades and stellar experiences.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that that's a viable solution. It's almost like as soon as you start leaning towards one aspect of veterinary medicine, species wise, you have an arms race between the people who are trying to get away with, I'm just trying to get in, so I will tell you what you want to hear, and the people are who are reviewing applications saying, how do we verify that these people are actually saying the truth?
Mhm.
And because you're gonna have people who are like, honestly, I don't know if I want to do large animal or small animal. Like I'm on the fence. A&M's very open. Like you're going not not only are they on the fence, they will argue for like against you being like, you might think that you only want to do
Yeah.
cats, cat
Yeah.
like feline medicine. It's like we're
Mhm.
going to convince you otherwise. That is our goal. It's like to expose you to so many other things that
Which
you're
is
going to
good.
question whether
Yeah.
or not you want to do that for the rest of your life because there are
Mhm.
so many other things that you can do. And yeah, yeah, there's a whole can of worms there that I don't like. I don't know the Texas Tech process, and I'm not. They don't talk to little old Tyler Deason about this.
They get your opinion?
Yeah, they call me up and it's like, "Hey, we have this really big issue. We need to discuss." But um, so I'm not going to say that they're doing something right or doing something wrong. Um, it's just it's different.
Mhm. It is. It is. And so, yeah, I feel like I mix feelings about it. I don't know if there's a like a right or wrong way to approach the process, but try again. Have some resilience.
Yeah, it'll always be flawed.
Yeah, true. Very
No
true.
application process can ever be perfect. Um, which is unfortunate, but hey, it's just
It's life,
yeah, yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Um, but hey, if you don't do residency, you never have to apply for anything. Like apply and compete against a number of other applicants,
Yeah,
other than like a job. And even in our field, you're not applying against a large number of people. It's usually like, hey, I want to work at your clinic. They're like, please.
please. Yeah, no, you're so right, which I am very excited about. And very grateful about that. There's, I don't know, not like a next big what if. Like, I do know I'm going to this career. I do know that, like, I'm doing it because I love it, not because I feel like I was forced into it, but like I'm genuinely passionate about companion animals, but then also like the agriculture side. So it is very comforting, like feeling confident in the career that you're going to, for sure. So I'm happy.
Yeah, you feel like you're in the right spot.
I think so. Yes, despite all the comparison issues I have that I described earlier, I do feel like I'm on the right path and like where I need to be. And um, if I'm not, I don't have a better answer. So I feel like that's where we're supposed to be right now. So yeah, I think so.
We've been going for a while. We've been going for almost 2.5 hours.
That's crazy. We both love to talk,
Yeah.
especially me.
Do you have anything else you like? Final words of wisdom for anybody who might be listening.
Um, I say if you sounds cliche, but if you are trying to get into the vet school process of applications and everything, don't make something of yourself that you're not, and stay true to yourself. And then also don't sell yourself short, because you are like amazing and great, and the right person and the right school will see that. But also don't let vet med define you. Have other passions, have other interests, because like we talked about earlier, I think that's so important. And horns down, always.
Always.
Always. I
Cool.
think that's it though. Thanks for having me.
Of course. This
Yeah,
was fun.
it was. Yay!
Cool.